Okay, so that brings us to sister city deals. Now, the sister city deals were formed after the Second World War, and they were made to bring alliances back with other countries and friendships to build up trade, tourism, and get the economy happening again. And we have sister city deals made with lots of countries all over the world and lots of cities. And the reason for that was, as I just said, but the CCP has looked on this opportunity as to get into each council and city and manipulate the people when it gets in there. And this is what they do. This is who the CCP are. So all these dots that you see here that I've put, these flags here, these are all the sister city deals in Australia. There's about 50 or 60 of them. But some of them have been taken off the map due to the COVID, but there's too little too late, because the CCP has already established what they wanted to do in these cities, and they take each council over. They'll form a sister city deal with the council here or whatever it may be, and they'll take the councils and business representatives from there that they want to manipulate. They'll take them over to that sister city deal in China. And they will treat them like kings, and everything that you think that you are doing, the CCP are in complete control. Maybe a day before you go home, they'll give you a card to buy a few drinks and then let you go. And you'll go out and you may do something stupid, in a motel room or whatever, or get manipulated somehow. They will know everything about you before they take you to China. And they will know whether you like chocolate ice cream or strawberry ice cream. They know everything about you, and they will know how to manipulate you. They will have everything recorded, and they will have everything filmed. So if you do something stupid, which many will have done, I have no doubt, and they will have that on video, and they will send that to you when they need something from you at a later date, whether it's 5 or 10 years down the track. These deals have been going on for 20 and 30 years, and they have been doing what they do best. So over here we look at things, and every place I've noticed there's either an airport or a large volume of water or some huge business thing happening. We'll just run through them very quickly here in Australia. You've got Money Jump here, which is an airport, Bunbury, which is an airport. You've got sister city deals here. Now, like I said, they take all these councils over, they shout all these people, and they get into their very country, into their very makeup, into the community. You've got airports here. This is a area they also make deals with, not only the sister cities, but they also make a sister city deal with an area. And this is a Cockburn area, which is 167 square k's down here. And this is right next to the naval base. Now, they've been in here, in this area here for 20, 30 years, and what are they doing in here? What are they building underground? What are they making right next to our naval base in Perth? Now, you've got also up here in Geraldton, they make the sister city deal with the Greater Geraldton. This has got wind farms and lots of different things in here that the CCP want, and airports. This is what 14 million hectares of land looks like, and this is what they own in Australia, all broken up in different pieces. But just to show you what it does look like, this is, say, we'll put it here in Victoria. It's quite a lot of land that they own in our country. You can't go to China and buy yourself a one-bedroom unit in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely not. They won't sell you one piece of nothing. But we sell them all our land. But anyway, this is the sister cities, and over here, we've got them here. Look at this from a strategically planned war thing, if you like, and they manipulate everything here for their own reason. There's an airport in Mildura, and a huge major river, the Murray River's there. In Griffith, there's an airport. Wagga Wagga, there's an airport. They make a sister city deals down here with the Greater Shepparton. Greater Shepparton has the Melbourne University of Melbourne is located here. And they this is what they do, and they make a deal with this, and they'll take the respective university hierarchy over there, and they'll make deals, and they'll put students into these universities, which they do right across our country. They train them up, and 4 or 5 years later they're educated, and they're out into the business world, forming companies and getting into our very market, and the CCP controlling all these people. Every student that's put into these places is organised by the CCP, and they're trained and coached and learned in our countries. Now, we've got over here, we've got Campus C, we've got the Bendigo, the Greater Bendigo. You've got the Greater Geelong down here. Now, you look into these things. Here's the airport there. And so they've got deals with all these places. Who knows what they're doing in here and what they're building underneath the ground, and they're all over the place. Now you got them here in Melbourne, right here next to the airport. Down here in this part of Melbourne here. This is Bayside in Melbourne. I mean, it's all in prime places. You've got Melbourne water right here, the main Melbourne's main drinking water right there. Now, this is over here. All right, so we'll just keep going quickly because there is quite a bit to cover. Dubbo, there's in Dubbo there's a airport there. Now in Sydney, they've made all these deals in Sydney. I won't go into all of them, but they've made a deal here with Bayside. I think it's called Bayside Council. Bayside Council. Now this is what Bayside Council consists of. Put this together roughly, and there it is, Sydney Airport right there. Now if they're putting things in place, they're controlling the airports all over the place. There's wherever they go, but if they've got the major airports like this, all you got to do is blow up the tarmac and there's nothing landing or whatever there at all. But if we go through our country here, and what we've got Tamworth and we've got Gunnedah. Now Gunnedah holds the world's one of the world's largest agricultural deals, and they have 3,000 people bring their wares there each year, and there's visited by 100,000 people. Now the CCP are involved in all this. Tamworth is got an airport. The Gold Coast is a huge amount of area. Toowoomba has got an airport. Ipswich has got a huge. Now the Ipswich has cancelled their sister city deals, but it's too little, too late. But they're all around here, all around the major water outlets. I've noticed right across our country and across the world. Now in Townsville's got one of the world's biggest zinc factories there, as well as the world's largest nickel mine. Now zinc added to water is no good, and they've made a deal with that sister city deal there, and we know that Darwin they own the port of Darwin. So they've got stuff that can come in here, and they also own the airport in Western Australia. So they're able to bring things into this country that we don't know about. Now, just have a look here. Like I say, this is where they are in New Zealand. I mean, they've got heaps of sister city deals in New Zealand. Now, remembering that each one of these is strategically placed by the CCP for their reason, whether it's for the airport or whether it's to get the knowledge that they have. We'll just have a look here in this place here. Now, I'll have a look at these places. In fact, I'll just read quickly what this is written by. This is by Professor Clive Hamilton. Now, Professor Hamilton is a professor of public ethics and has been awarded the Order of Australia. Now, we made a submission to the Foreign Affairs and Defence Trade Committee. And he says that for the Chinese Communist Party, sister city agreements have been effective avenues for gaining influence into municipalities around and states or provinces across the world. The most important point to grasp here is that in case of China, the sister city agreements are not spontaneous expressions of the desire for cultural, economic changes between the two cities. So they're all being planned for something. There's a reason behind why they're doing this. Now, I've been in and had a look at these ones here. Now, if we just go into this place, French Polynesia, and have a look. Now, these are going in and find out what's going on here. What's the reason for the CCP to be here in this little tiny spot? And there it is there. It's an airport. It's a big airport. It's a huge airport. And that's what they are doing. They're going into these places where there is huge airports. Now, just have a look. We'll just pan out and go over here. Is Samoa, another one. Go in here and have a look. What are they doing here? I mean, the CCP does nothing for any other reason but the CCP. And they're in here for a reason that is not what we think it may be. Now there is another one there, the international airport. So they're all huge airports, and they're in control of these airports. They're taking all these people, all these places that haven't got much money and whatever, and they're shouting them all there, giving them little benefits to get what they want. Now we'll go over here to now this is part of Tonga down here. There's another airport there, and we've got Port Vila. Vanuatu's got a couple of big international airports. Port Vila has got, now they've got 3 sister city deals down here with Port Vila, and this has also got international airports. So this is what they're doing, and they're getting into these places and forming themselves and having the international airports to use for for themselves, So we'll just pan out of this one, and we'll just change maps and go back here to this one. Now, we go from here and we have a look across here, so remembering that these are all strategically placed by the CCP. So we'll go over here and see what they're doing over here. Now, this is Japan. Now, look at Japan. We know Japan is the world leader in technology. Now, all these places they have a deal with, and this has been over 20, 30, 40 years in the making. So they've been in these cities for all this time, taking business people over, taking school lecturers over, representatives of the universities to establish their Confucius classrooms across the globe. And all these places, they're manipulating them one by one, piece by piece, and mark my words, this is what they've done. So they've got huge amounts of infrastructure into technology, blackmail people to get in there. And this is Japan alone. They're there for that reason. South Korea, look at South Korea. These are huge amounts of manipulations that they've done in all these places. Now, if it's not for their business or whatever, it is for the water, to control water. They've got 7.5 billion gigaliters of water here in Australia. They're storing water for some reason. What do we need? We all need water. And so anyway, if we look in here, this is over in Seoul here. Now, this is talking about Townsville. This one here is a sister city deal they've made. Now, this is where the owners of these mines that have the zinc are, and this is in Seoul, and they're across the globe. And they also make it also makes acid. Yes. Sulfuric acid. Now we go down here to the Philippines and across this here. Now look, the CCP supported the establishment of communist parties in Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam, Burma, Laos, and Nepal. Now all of these, the leaders of all these parties are actually hiding out in China. They're actually we think that they have governments in their respective countries, but they're all being controlled by the CCP in the Chinese Communist Party. Now look at the amount of sister cities they've made across the bloody globe, and they're, like I say, they're all for their own reasons. Look here in Europe, I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal what they've done and what they're doing. And you can imagine, looking at it from the CCP's perspective, they are here for no other reason other than the CCP. That is their complete, they don't care about anybody else except the CCP, and they want totalitarianism across the globe, and they want to be in control of it. Now, look off here. I'll just have a look at these places. I'll go into these other maps, just to have a look. This is off Portugal here. A little dot in the middle of nowhere. Now, what are they doing here? There's always a reason from the CCP, and it's no other reason than what they want. And there is an airport here. Now, this is quite a large airport. It's got fighter jets. You can take fighter jets. This is what they are doing. So they're in these places, manipulating these little places, giving them holidays or whatever. So the people that control these individual places are being manipulated by the CCP. Mark my words. So if we look at this from this perspective across the globe and what they're doing, they're buying their way into these countries. You look at America. We look at Canada, for example. Now, in Canada, what have I got here? Canada. Okay, we'll just have a look here in Canada. Just to look, Thunder Bay, just to highlight Canada. What are they doing in all these? What's the reason of the CCP for being here? And again, it's an airport and a huge major water inlet. There's the international airport there. And we just come across, there's Winnipeg here, that's got another airport, airport there, and major water. We've got Regina, there's airports here, airports there, and the airports all over the place, and they're strategically placed, for the CCP. And come way up here to the middle of nowhere, and you guessed it, this has got another major airport, and there it is there, international airport. Now these are, if they're controlling all these airports and the airports all across the place, I mean, there's nothing for them to go in and bomb. Once you bomb the bloody tarmac of the airports they're not in control of or don't want control of, and the tarmacs are blowing up, whether it be Richmond Air Base here in Australia, and the tarmacs are all blowing up, and there's nowhere to land. I mean, these people this CCP are very, very good at what they do, and you can look, all these dots here are for a reason. Now, whether they've got things in place, and they all these sister city deals, and they're building different computers or radars or whatever they are to block out the fighter jets or things in America, or the military or whatever. Satellites are controlled. I don't know about all this stuff, but I do know I've been dealing with the CCP for 20 years on human rights issues, and I have seen the manipulation of local government, state and federal, and how people turn a blind eye to people that have been horrifically tortured. I've showed photos and pictures and documents about this stuff, and people turn a blind eye and because of the trade with China, and they don't want to affect and hurt China. But all this time, China has been bringing their own force into our very living room, and we can see that now. They're trying to block out our flag, and down in Victoria, that's been manipulated terribly. Saving lives, and Black Lives Matter and all this. I mean, it's just all hoo-ha, and this is what the CCP, this is communism being infiltrated into our very own country. So I just wanted to show and have a look at this. Now this map, I've put together, and every spot is made, and I've put myself in the screen here because I'm responsible for this, and I'll stand up and be counted for this. But you just look across the globe at where they are in all these places, I'll just finish off with this one. Just have a quick look at this one. I've looked at every particular point, but what's this one here? There and there. Just what are they making a sister city deal with this place in the middle of absolutely nowhere? And it's for trade or whatever. It's a plan. It's a plan of war for the CCP. There it is. There's another airport there. See, and it's a huge airport. So they've got control of all these bloody airports, and all the other ones are they're going to blow the tarmac up. You can't land nothing there then, and they've got pretty much control. And if they're putting stuff into the water across the globe with this zinc mines and that they got deals with, there's very, very serious. And if they've got they're supplying and backing up the water and having supplies and storage of water, and we need to ask them to get somebody to get a few bits of water. It's very very scary. So yeah, all right, we'll just finish up on that one. We'll just have one more look. I haven't had a look here in South America, but this is a huge, there it is. There, another one, big airport. I mean, they're in there for the reason of the CCP. So let's just see if we can get this out and share this around a little bit, and look at it from the perspective of the CCP and what they're doing and how much they are in our country. It's bloody shocking, This is our beautiful country, and we don't want them here. Not the Chinese people. The Chinese people are a beautiful people, and they've got a great 5,000 years of culture. This is the CCP I'm talking about. Let's get them out.